This jacket looks fine on the surface, but beneath the wax, it's actually in danger of falling apart. Most of us treating rewaxing like routine maintenance. It's something you do once a year with a hairdryer and tin wax. But if you do it without understanding what's actually happening to the cotton, you can take a jacket that lasted for years and make it brittle in a single afternoon. Today, we're going beyond the how-to. I'm going to show you the 3 hidden truths about how wax actually moves and the 5 mistakes. They are likely ruining your favorite coat right now. And stick around, because there's one specific area involving the same strand that almost every collector misses. We often think of wax as armor sitting on top of the fabric, but the cotton is a natural material that needs to breathe. Think of wax like a filler. It lives inside the tiny gaps between the cotton fibers. When those gaps are full, the jacket pushes water away. But wax isn't permanent. It moves. It gets worn down by the sun, friction from your arms, and the constant flexing of the fabric. The patina we love is actually a sign that the wax is leaving the fibers. The danger here is layering. If you add new wax before the old stuff is gone, you are packing space that's already full. Eventually, that buildup gets hard and stiff. The fibers lose their ability to shift and flex as you move. That's how you get those mystery cracks in the sleeve. Before you start rewaxing, you have to make a choice about how you clean the jacket. Many people try to reset the fabric by using heavy soaps or hot water to get it perfectly clean. But here's the truth. The deep, rich color in an old jacket isn't just dirt. It's a mix of old, oxidized wax, and the years of wear that have bonded to the fibers. If you prep jacket with harsh cleaners, you strip away the wax that's protecting the fabric. When you apply new wax to bare cotton, the jacket comes out looking flat, industrial, and brand new. You lose that 3-dimensional depth that make a vintage piece special. We just want to remove the mud and the grit, not the history that's lived deep in the fibers. You want a jacket that's clean, but still looks like it has soul. Wax has a specific working temperature. When it's too cold, the wax is still there, but it won't work the way it should. Here's what's really happening. Think about that classic look when water beats up and rolls right off the fabric. That only happens when the wax is warmed enough to relax into smooth, even layer. In colder temperatures, that wax stiffens up. The wax is still cooling the fibers, but the surface becomes uneven and bumpy at the microscopic level. Instead of water bouncing off, it finds those little gaps, spreads out, and starts soaking in. The jacket looks like it's failing, but it really just needs to warm up to do its job. That's why our gear can shatter in perfectly on a mild day, but look like a sponge when it's freezing. The wax hasn't changed. The temperature is what changes how it behaves. Mistake number 1 is rewaxing a jacket that hasn't been aired out properly. Think about the way a lining goes through. It soaks up body heat, sweat, and oils all season long. If you slap a fresh, hot layer of wax on the outside, you are essentially sealing that environment in a plastic bag. Without airflow, then skin cells and moisture get trapped. You just created perfect conditions for bacteria to grow. That's why some vintage jackets develop that musty smell that never quite goes away, even after a professional clean. A fresh coat of wax can also lock in everything the jacket has collected over the season. Leave the jacket alone for at least 3 days and let it breathe. If it smells a bit funky, mix the lining with a mixed water and wet vinegar. This helps clear out any remaining smell before you rewax it. This is the same strand problem I mentioned at the beginning. The second mistake is allowing wax to build up around seams. Wax naturally collects in the lowest area of the fabric, especially around the seams. Over the years, that wax settles in those deep channels and starts grabbing onto dust, grit, and fine sand from the air. It turns the old wax into a rough, gritty layer. Every time you move your arms or twist your body, that grit acts like sandpaper. It's rubbing directly against the cotton thread inside the seam. If you don't clear those channels, you're just sealing that grit back in with fresh wax and letting it grind against your seams for another year. Before you reach for the wax, grab a soft brush, gently run down the seam lines to clear out that grit gunk. You'll be surprised at how much raw grit is actually happening there. We've all seen people hold a hair dryer just a few inches from the fabric until the wax seems to disappear. But the goal is not to make one spot, and how that's possible. You want to soften the wax gradually, so it spreads evenly across the fabric. If one small area gets too hot, the wax can become very runny and spread toward the edges. This may leave less wax in the center and more wax around it. That uneven distribution can affect how the jacket beats water when you wear it in the rain. Instead of concentrating the heat on one spot, move the hairdryer slowly across the wetter area. Use broad, steady passes, and keep the heat moving until the wax sticks evenly working the fabric. It's natural to add more wax to the areas that look the most worn, especially the inner elbows and shoulders. But these hand movement areas can actually become a problem. If too much wax builds up, wax becomes firmer and loose around the elbows. The cotton needs to flex, fold, and move with every arm movement. A heavy wax layer can restrict that movement, making the fabric stiffer and creating sharper, more defined creases. Over time, repeated bending in the same area can create more wear instead of having the fabric last longer. This doesn't mean the elbows should be left entirely dry. They still need a wax layer to stay water resistant. The key is to avoid saturating them, just because they look lighter or more worn than the rest of the jacket. Use a thin, even coat and work in the fabric. A slight difference in color is normal. Maintaining flexibility is more important than making every section look the same dark color or heavily waxed. The biggest mistake happens when you think you are done. The jacket may look great, but that doesn't mean it's ready to be folded or put away. The wax still needs time to settle, especially during the first 48 hours. If you fold the jacket too soon, some of the wax can transfer to the inner lining, or even worse, the soft color. Once the wax gets into the soft corduroy fabric, it's very difficult to remove. It can match down the fibers and permanently change the texture. So leave the jacket somewhere with good airflow for at least 2 days. Check the surface before putting it away. If it still feels tacky or sticky, leave it hanging a little longer. Once the surface feels dry and even, the jacket is ready to store. Keeping a Barbour in good condition isn't just about how often you wax it. The preparation, how much wax you apply, and what you do afterward are just as important. Remove the surface grit without stripping the fabric. Avoid applying too much wax around half-flexed areas, and keep the heat moving as you work. If you have a wax jacket and you're not sure whether it needs a complete rewax or only a few dry areas touched up, let me know in the comments. And if you made any of these mistakes before, I'd be interested to hear what happened.